Hello and welcome to my video on the relative age effect and its impact in sport. The relative age effect, or R.A.E, as it will be referred to for the duration of this video, was described by Helson et al. In 2012 as being a symmetry in birth date distribution favouring players born early in the selection year and discriminating against participants born later in the year. What this is saying is that a player born in late December can be playing in the same team as a player born in early January, despite the fact that a player born in January has had nearly 12 months more time to develop and so is likely to be ahead of the player born in December in terms of physical development as well as numerous other traits, thus creating a bias towards a player born early in the year, as despite the vast amount of time this player has had to develop, they will still be playing alongside and against the player born later in the year. In an effort to counter this, clubs in England are now structuring their academy age groups in a way that runs parallel to the school year, meaning that it starts in September and runs through to August instead of from January to December. A successful example of this type of system, although he didn't start off in England, is Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who classes as a Q1 player, having been born on the 3rd of October, and who has been famous for his ability as a complete forward throughout his entire career, gaining a reputation not only as one of the most clinical finishers in the game, but he's also feared for his aerial presence and overall physical strength. This, along with standing at 6'5" tall, means he disproves the idea of R.A.E advantage in the calendar year. This graph, adopted from Helson et al.'s work in 2005, shows how the R.A.E affects academies across some of the biggest footballing countries across Europe. The graph clearly shows that every country, barring Spain, has more children born in Q1 of their academies than in any other quarter, with some countries like England, Germany and Italy having at least twice as many players from Q1 than any other quarter for their age group. Nick Levitt found that 3 seasons ago, 45% of players playing at top-level academies were born in Q1 of their age group. That is, born in September, October or November. There can be problems with the R.A.E and how it manipulates our perception of players and athletes. For example, a player born in September may well be faster, stronger and have a higher overall athletic ability than a player born in August, but is there a risk that we see these attributes and think somebody is talented based on these alone, rather than their technical ability? There is a long history of academies releasing players because they are too small and they feel they won't be able to make a career out of being a footballer solely because of their size. This happens due to a focus on the present, with academies wanting to get results and enhance their reputations as quickly as possible, and so the physically mature players are selected ahead of others more often than not. Baker et al. In 2013 suggested that in recent years, countries such as America and the UK have invested considerable resources into the identification and development of the next wave of sporting champions. However, if this is done by selecting players who are more physically mature than others of the same age, there could be a risk of letting an entire generation of potential champions slip through the net. A prime example of a player who was released for his size is Jamie Vardy, who was released by Sheffield Wednesday as a teenager and so was forced to go into part-time non-league football with the likes of Stockbridge Park Steels, Halifax Town and Fleetwood prior to their promotion to the Football League. He was then able to secure a move to Leicester City in 2012, not only helping them gain promotion from the Championship to the Premier League, but also playing an integral role in their famous title-winning season in 2016, breaking the record for most consecutive Premier League games scored in the process, and is now omnipresent in the England national team. Using this system, scouts and coaches will continue to be blind to the fact that every child is unique, and that each child's level of development is certain to differ from every other child. Just because a child is stronger and faster than most of their age does not mean that he or she has more potential than someone who is smaller and weaker, when the smaller child could well be one of the most technically talented people of their age. Mark Upton previously described the assessment of talent at a single moment in time as being a flawed approach, suggesting that any scouts using this method are risking out on missing out on the next wave of talent and potential for the sake of a couple years of immediate success. There is a defence of R.A.E, however, as elimination of it would mean that every club and school team would have to play by the same rules. For example, if there was one team using players based on R.A.E playing against a side that was representative of the population, the chances are the R.A.E side would win pretty comfortably, which is why clubs follow the size equals ability theory when choosing their talent. One method that attempts to combat these issues is biobanding, which is where teams are formed based on their physical maturation rather than chronological age. Some Premier League sides, such as AFC Bournemouth and Watford, have already begun testing biobanding as an alternative to the standard age system, with Bournemouth's youth development phase lead, Graham Mills, suggesting that it gives the opportunity for a less developed 15-year-old to showcase his technical ability against those older than him, whereas otherwise he may not get the chance against those his own age. However, Josh Fragger ponders whether this is the long-term answer, suggesting that there is an increased risk of injury to any younger players who are pitted against those who are older. Hello and welcome to my video